Hello there. So this is going to be my first official video on my YouTube channel, and I've done this video as a way of saying thank you to everyone who has supported me over the past few days subscribing to my channel. The lesson I want to talk on today is just the idea that gave me enough confidence to go out and ask my friends to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's dive right into it. Have you ever felt stuck between your faith and your dreams? Have you ever felt like borrowing goes against your faith, but you're also missing out on opportunities? In today's lesson, I want to deep dive into a biblical principle that would change the way you think about borrowing, and it can revolutionize your approach to growth and impact. Growing up, there was one particular line I kept hearing in church that shaped my ideas about borrowing. And it was a statement: I owe no man anything, dead or alive. I kept hearing that in church. I owe no man anything, dead or alive. And I was like, okay, that means borrowing is something to avoid by all means. However, I was recently reading a story in the Bible, and I figured out there is something I've been missing. And that's the story in the book of 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 1 to about 10ish, about the widow who went to the prophet Elijah seeking for help. And something happened that was so profound when the prophet asked her to go borrow vessels. And that kind of sparked some curiosity in my mind. Like, wait, I've grown up with the mindset that borrowing is something to be avoided. Why will the prophet ask the widow to go borrow vessels? And as I began to do a deep search, I came across another scenario where God asked the Israelites to borrow stuff from the Egyptians when they were leaving Egypt. And it became clear that something must be missing in my understanding of what has been communicated about borrowing over time. So as I began to study, I came to a conclusion that while financial debt can be very risky, there is a kind of borrowing that the Bible actually encourages. That is the borrowing that has to do with borrowing vessels. It's very important that you follow me here to get my line of thought. So the first problem I discovered with my understanding of borrowing was that I focused solely on money. For instance, in the book of Deuteronomy 15 and in chapter 28 as well, there was the clear statement, thou shalt not borrow. That was a statement. And I think it has kind of brought about the fear of borrowing, right? So, but one thing I realize is the decision not to borrow has very tremendous consequences because it can stifle innovation and impact. So let's talk about the widow's example. God instructed her to borrow vessels, not money. This already showed a different kind of borrowing. Now, what's the difference between a vessel and money? A vessel is anything that will help you multiply what you already have to serve others better. An example would be borrowing books, taking courses, seeking mentorship, right? It could also be collaborating with others and guest posting. It could also be sharing tools or sharing equipment. For instance, say I subscribe to Canva Premium, right? And I have friends who are doing their businesses. I could add them to what I've subscribed, right? So it's like they're borrowing my platform, but to amplify what they already do. It can be as simple as asking for feedback, right? Having community support and finding accountability partners. Now, what is the power of this kind of borrowing? One thing I realize is it leads to abundance. Let's say you are an entrepreneur, for instance, and you have an idea. Just by borrowing a book that will give you clarity on the processes to engage in to start your business, it's going to give you more confidence and empower you to start. Now, just like myself, the reason why I'm doing this video, right, is because I know there are stuff that I've learned over time that are very profound and can help people make better decisions with their life and their businesses. And I want to share that, but I cannot share that with no subscriber, right? So I figured out that the vessels I needed to borrow for the oil I currently have is to ask my friends and families to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And because I already have over 100 subscribers now, which to me is a lot actually, because I had less than that about a week ago, I can get the confidence to do this video. Anyone with a skill or message, for instance, as well, can also borrow platforms. Okay, one of my mentors, he has people come on his platform. He has a very good platform, and then they talk about their product, talk about their things. All these are examples of borrowing vessels to expand and enlarge what you currently have. Now, one of the very profound lessons that changed my mindset about borrowing is the fact that this woman had oil, and what she didn't have was enough quantity of that oil. But her neighbors had vessels. The profound thing is, her neighbors were the ones who were going to use the oil, but the vessels that they had was what was going to increase the oil. So for me, it gave me a new perspective to borrowing, that what I have, my neighbors need, and what they have, I need. For instance, what I'm sharing now, I can share because I have a subscriber base that is going to listen to it. So this lesson, my subscribers need to know about it. But then if I don't have the subscribers, I will not have the confidence to do this video. So it kind of shifted my mindset, making me to understand that what I have, my neighbors need. What my neighbors have, I need. So what do we take from this? There is something that you have that your neighbor needs. So by borrowing vessels, you can multiply your oil that will help you to serve them better. And it's a win-win, because you borrow vessels and then you return the vessels, but you also have oil to sell to them. And one of the I think one of the most profound things about borrowing vessels is it's easy to return vessels. Like, it's very easy. Say you borrow a book, for instance, to read, right? You can return the book when you're done. Say your friends subscribe to your YouTube channel. That's easy to return to, because when they open their own YouTube channel, you can also subscribe. So when you borrow vessels, it's so easy to return. And most often than not, there is no interest to borrowing vessels. It's just borrowing vessels to pour in the oil that you already have. What's the takeaway? Yes, the Bible advises against borrowing money, because the Bible clearly states that the borrower is the slave to the lender, right? But there's a kind of borrowing the Bible encourages, and that is the borrowing of vessels. Why? Because you have something that you need to share, and by borrowing vessels, you will be able to multiply what you have and then serve a wider audience. I hope this video has given us a new perspective to borrowing and why you should not be afraid to borrow vessels. Because trust me, what you have, there are billions of people out there who need what you have. But then, for you to amplify what you currently have, you also need vessels. So it's time to stop letting the fear of borrowing hold you back. You need to identify the vessels that you need and start seeking out where to borrow these vessels. Remember, it's not about taking advantage. It's a mutually beneficial exchange. You have something they need, your message, your product, your gifts, and they also have something you need, their audience, their books, their platforms, whatever it is. I know you've heard a lot of people tell you not to borrow, but I'm here to say something different. Let's go out and start borrowing. Borrow as many vessels as you can, because the more the vessels you have, the more oil you're going to have in the end. I hope this video has been a blessing to you and you would no longer be afraid of borrowing. Well, of course, the right kind of borrowing. Thank you for watching this video. I encourage you to subscribe. Remember, I'm borrowing your vessel. Subscribe, leave a comment below, and please feel free to share this with your friends, because I think we really need to get the message out that people should not be afraid of borrowing vessels. Until next time, thank you for watching.